I did not know anything about statistics in the summer of 1944. No one in my crew did. No one told us that Germany had built just over 1,000 Tiger tanks, or that the United States would eventually produce tens of thousands of Shermans. Those were numbers for men far from the front. We only knew what sat beneath us, what we could smell, and what we feared. I was a loader in an M4 Sherman, assigned to the 66th Armored Regiment, 2nd Armored Division. We landed in Normandy in late June 1944, weeks after the first assault waves had gone ashore. The beaches were already behind us by the time we rolled inland, but the war did not feel any safer for it. On paper, our division was well equipped. In reality, most of our tanks were already showing the marks of hedgerow fighting, bent fenders, clogged tracks, engines coughing in the damp air. The Sherman was reliable, easy to maintain, and fast enough on roads. That is what the manuals said. What the manuals did not mention was how thin the armor felt when you knew German guns were waiting somewhere ahead. The first time I heard a Tiger mentioned was outside Corentin. It was not confirmed. Someone said intelligence believed a Schwer Panzerabteilung had been spotted further east. The word moved through the battalion quietly, like a disease. No one needed to explain what a Tiger was. We all had seen the silhouettes pinned to briefing boards. The long 88mm gun, the thick frontal armor, the square shape that made our Shermans look like tin cans by comparison. Most days were spent advancing a few hundred yards at a time. The bocage made everything close and blind. You could not see more than 50 meters ahead. Fields were bordered by earth walls older than our country, thick enough to stop shells. German infantry hid everywhere. Panzerfaust teams waited until you were almost on top of them. When they fired, it sounded like someone slamming a door inside your skull. Inside the tank, the heat was constant. The engine noise never left you. Sweat ran into my eyes even on cool mornings. My hands smelled of oil and cordite no matter how much I scrubbed them. I slept sitting upright more often than not, helmet still on, ears ringing. We lost our first tank near St. Lo on July 11, 1944. A Sherman from Charlie Company took a hit from a concealed POC 40. The round went through the hull. The tank burned fast. Too fast. There was nothing heroic about it. Just fire, screaming, and then silence. We did not stop to count the dead. We kept moving because stopping meant dying. By mid-July, rumors became reality. German heavy tanks were confirmed in the sector. Elements of Schwer Panzerabteilung 503 were operating nearby, equipped with Tiger I tanks. The briefing officer said it plainly: frontal engagement was not advised. Flanking shots only. Call for air support if possible. Avoid open ground. Avoiding open ground was easier said than done. On July 18, during Operation Cobra preparations, we were positioned along a narrow road bordered by hedgerows. The air smelled of dust and crushed leaves. We heard the artillery first, American guns firing in preparation for the breakout. The ground shook under us, steady and relentless. Somewhere ahead, German positions were being pulverized. At least that was the hope. Then the radio crackled. A tank platoon ahead had made contact. Heavy armor. One vehicle disabled. We halted. Engines idled. No one spoke. I remember gripping a 75mm round so tightly my fingers went numb. The inside of the turret felt smaller than ever. Our commander did not raise his voice. He didn't have to. We all knew what heavy armor meant now. When we moved again, it was slow. Tracks clanking. The gunner scanned through his sight, breathing shallow. I watched the floor, waiting for the order to load. I remember thinking, not about dying, but about fire. about being trapped inside steel while it burned. The Tiger did not appear at first. Only the wreck of a Sherman ahead of us, blackened and split open. Its turret had been blown sideways. That sight told us more than any briefing ever could. Somewhere beyond the hedgerow, a German crew was waiting. And they were not afraid of us. We did not see the Tiger when it fired the first shot. The impact came before the sound. The Sherman ahead of us lurched as if struck by a giant hand. The round punched straight through the turret. There was no fire this time, just metal tearing apart and the tank stopping dead in the road. Smoke drifted out slowly, gray and thick. No one climbed out. Our driver instinctively backed us into the hedgerow. Branches scraped along the hull. Inside the turret, everything felt tight and fragile. The gunner tried to locate the source, sweeping left to right. Nothing. The Tiger was firing from beyond the next field, hull down, using the hedgerow as cover. We could not see it clearly, but it could see us. That was the difference. The Tiger's 88mm gun did not need perfect aim. At that range, 800 meters, maybe less, it could punch through a Sherman from almost any angle. Our 75mm gun could hurt it, but only if we got close, only if we hit the side or rear. And getting close meant surviving long enough to try. The radio filled with short, clipped transmissions. Another Sherman was hit. Then another. No shouting. Just reports. Positions. Distances. Men trying to sound calm while watching steel coffins burn. Our commander ordered smoke. White clouds bloomed in front of us, thick and uneven. It was not enough. The Tiger fired again. The sound was sharper this time, like a hammer striking an anvil. The shell passed somewhere close. I felt it more than heard it, a pressure in my chest, a vibration through the hull. We moved anyway. The driver pushed us forward along the hedgerow, using it as cover. The tank bounced and groaned. Inside, spent shell casings rolled underfoot. My job was simple. Load when told, keep the rounds coming, do not freeze. I focused on the weight of the shells, the cold brass biting into my palms. We broke into the field at an angle, not straight on. The gunner shouted that he had eyes on it, partial view, left side. The Tiger was massive, taller than us, its turret slowly traversing. It looked unreal, like something from a training poster come to life. Up, the gunner called. I slammed the round into the breech. The gun fired. The recoil threw me back against the turret wall. The shell struck the Tiger's side and sparked, leaving a dark scar. No penetration. The Tiger answered immediately. The round hit our front glasses and deflected downward. The tank rocked violently. The driver swore. For a second, I thought we were burning. Then the smell came, hot paint, oil, dust shaken loose. We were still alive. That did not feel like victory. Another Sherman moved to our right, trying to flank. The Tiger's turret followed it with terrifying calm. One shot. The Sherman erupted into flame, hatches blowing open. A man tried to climb out. He didn't make it far. Air support was requested, but the sky was low and heavy with smoke from the bombardment. The radio said fighter bombers were busy elsewhere. We were on our own. Eventually, numbers did what armor could not. More Shermans arrived, too many to ignore. The Tiger backed away, retreating behind the hedgerow, firing as it went. We did not chase it. Chasing a Tiger was how you died. The field fell silent except for crackling fires and the hiss of cooling engines. We sat there afterward, unmoving. No one spoke. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped a shell casing. When I bent to pick it up, I realized my knees hurt from being locked in place for too long. Later, We learned that Tiger had been disabled days later by aircraft. Not destroyed by tanks. Not in a duel. Caught by rockets while refueling. That seemed fitting. By August, after Operation Cobra broke the German lines, the war began to change. We moved faster. Roads opened up. Villages fell with less resistance. But Tigers were still out there, rare but deadly. When one appeared, everything slowed. Everyone listened harder. Everyone waited. We kept receiving new Shermans. Replacements arrived constantly, fresh tanks, factory paint still visible under the dust. Crews learned each other's names in a matter of hours. Sometimes minutes. Germany had built powerful machines. We had built many. And every time a Sherman burned, another one took its place. That knowledge did not make us brave. It made us tired. By September 1944, the war no longer looked the way it had in Normandy. The hedgerows were behind us. France opened into wide fields, towns, long roads lined with trees. We moved fast enough now that sometimes the maps could not keep up. Our division pushed east through Belgium, engines running day and night, stopping only when fuel ran out or resistance stiffened. The Shermans kept coming. New tanks arrived on transporters almost weekly. Some had the longer 76mm gun now, meant to give us a better chance against heavy German armor. Others still carried the familiar 75mm. It did not matter much to us. A Sherman was a Sherman. It could move. It could be fixed. And if it burned, another one would take its place. The Germans could not say the same anymore. When we encountered Tigers later that autumn, they felt different, not weaker, but lonelier. They appeared in small numbers, sometimes alone, sometimes with infantry that looked half-starved and exhausted. Fuel shortages plagued them. Spare parts were scarce. Crews abandoned vehicles not because they were destroyed, but because they could not move them anymore. Near Aachen in October 1944, we found a Tiger disabled by mechanical failure. No battle. No dramatic last stand. Just a massive machine sitting silent by the roadside, its crew long gone. The armor was intact. The gun still pointed forward. It looked almost dignified in its stillness. We circled it carefully, weapons trained, expecting a trap. Nothing happened. I climbed out of the turret and touched the steel. It was cold. Thicker than anything on our tank. Stronger, too. For a moment, I understood why our men feared these machines so deeply. Then I looked around. There were 5 Shermans in the column behind us. All running. All moving east. That was the difference. During the fighting in the Hurtgen forest later that year, everything slowed again. Mud replaced dust. Cold replaced heat. Engines struggled. Men froze. Tigers still appeared, but rarely. More often we faced Panzer IVs, assault guns, anti-tank guns dug deep into the trees. The war became close and brutal again. By then, fear had changed shape. It was no longer sharp panic. It was a dull wait. You expected losses. You stopped being surprised by them. In December, when the Germans launched their offensive in the Ardennes, rumors spread fast. Heavy armor moving west. Tigers again. King Tigers this time, they said. The name alone was enough to tighten your chest. We fought them there too. Not in glorious duels, but in fog, snow, broken radios, and confusion. The big German tanks were terrifying when they appeared, but they appeared rarely. When they broke down, they stayed broken. When they ran out of fuel, they stayed where they were. We lost Shermans. Many of them. Crews burned. Crews froze. Crews vanished into the forest and were never found. And still, the columns kept moving forward. I learned the numbers after the war. Someone told me Germany had built around 1,300 Tiger tanks in total. Someone else said America produced more than 49,000 Shermans. The figures sounded unreal. Too clean. Too distant. At the front, we never saw numbers. We saw burned-out hulls along roadsides. We saw fresh tanks with unfamiliar crews. We saw men climb into vehicles they had known for only hours and drive straight into fire. The Tiger was a terrifying machine. Anyone who says otherwise never faced one through a gunsight. But terror alone does not stop an army that keeps replacing what it loses. When the war ended, I did not feel victorious. I felt empty. The Sherman had carried me across France, Belgium, Germany. It had protected me just enough. Not because it was the best tank in the world, but because it was there. Again and again. Germany built the Tiger to win battles. America built the Sherman to finish a war. And for the men inside both machines, none of that mattered when the guns fired. Only survival did. Even now, when I hear an engine backfire, part of me waits for the impact before the sound. That never goes away.